There's a quiet organ inside you, working tirelessly, day and night, and most of the time, you don't feel it working at all. But when the kidneys begin to struggle, the whole body feels it. Fatigue, swelling, confusion, even heart strain. And here's the part many don't realize. By the time kidney disease is obvious, nearly half of kidney function may already be gone. That sounds frightening, but there's good news too. Food, the very thing that fuels us, can either weigh the kidneys down or help them heal. I've seen men and women in their 60s and 70s stabilize their kidney health simply by making gentle changes in what they put on their plates. I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Channel Vital Science for Seniors. Today I'll walk you through 10 foods that don't just nourish, they cleanse, repair, and protect your kidneys for the years ahead. I remember a patient of mine named Eleanor, a retired teacher in her early 70s, who loved gardening but found herself increasingly short of breath and exhausted. Her lab tests showed high creatinine, a sign her kidneys were under stress. One of the simple, joyful changes we made together was encouraging her to snack on a small handful of grapes each day. Grapes aren't just sweet treats. They're like tiny capsules of medicine from nature. Their skins and seeds contain resveratrol, a compound studied for its ability to reduce inflammation and protect delicate blood vessels, including those that feed the kidneys. Think of it as a gentle shield, lowering the risk of further damage caused by diabetes or high blood pressure. Research in diabetic patients even suggests resveratrol can help preserve kidney tissue. Of course, too many grapes can add potassium, so balance matters. But 15 grapes or a small glass of juice daily became Eleanor's ritual, and she would tell me, smiling, that each bite felt like she was planting seeds of healing inside herself. There's a certain magic in the deep blue of a blueberry, almost as if nature painted it with health in mind. I think of Harold, a 68-year-old with both diabetes and early kidney disease, who came to me worried because he'd heard he'd need to give up fruit altogether. That simply isn't true. The key is choosing wisely, and blueberries are among the wisest choices you can make. Unlike bananas or oranges, they are low potassium foods, which means they protect kidney health without overloading a system that's already working overtime. Inside every berry are flavonoids called anthocyanins, the very pigments that give them that royal color. These act like tiny bodyguards, lowering inflammation, calming blood vessels, and helping to steady blood sugar swings. A study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry confirmed that blueberries rank among the highest in antioxidant capacity of all fruits. For Harold, adding half a cup of blueberries to his breakfast each morning not only brightened his plate, but also gave him hope. He could still enjoy sweetness without guilt, and in doing so, help protect his kidneys from further strain. When people hear the word fermented, they often think of something old or spoiled, but in truth, these foods are alive in the best way possible. They're bustling with friendly bacteria, known as probiotics, that nourish the gut. And here's the fascinating part. Your gut and your kidneys are in constant conversation. When kidneys weaken, toxins like urea begin to build up in the blood. Some of that urea seeps into the gut, irritating its lining and allowing harmful bacteria to flourish. But fermented foods act like gardeners, restoring balance and helping the good bacteria thrive. I had a patient named Samuel, a retired bus driver, who battled both chronic kidney disease and constant bloating. When we gently introduced small portions of sauerkraut into his meals, his digestion improved, and over time, he noticed less fatigue. Studies suggest probiotics can lower inflammation, which is crucial for protecting kidney tissue. Of course, we were careful. Some fermented foods like kimchi or pickles carry too much sodium, and yogurt can pack in phosphorus. That's why moderation and the right choices matter. Think of fermented foods as quiet helpers, sweeping away toxins and making the path smoother for your kidneys to do their work. There's a reason olive oil has been called liquid gold since ancient times. When you drizzle that green gold oil over a salad or warm vegetables, you're not just adding flavor, you're sending your body a dose of protection. Extra virgin olive oil is rich in oleic acid, a healthy fat that soothes inflammation the way a cool cloth eases a fevered brow. For people with kidney disease, that calm matters enormously. Inflammation is one of the silent villains that speeds up damage, raising creatinine and wearing down kidney filters. I once worked with Maria, a grandmother in her 60s who was struggling to manage both diabetes and high blood pressure. She feared that her love of cooking would now be limited to bland, joyless meals. Instead, I encouraged her to make olive oil her kitchen staple. Within a few months, not only had her blood sugar steadied, but her cholesterol levels improved as well. Unlike many other oils, olive oil is low in potassium and sodium, making it safer for fragile kidneys. Science backs this up. Studies show diets rich in olive oil can slow chronic disease progression. For Maria, every spoonful became a reminder that health can still taste good, even in later years. Garlic has always been more than just a seasoning. For centuries, people have called it nature's antibiotic, but for kidney health, it offers something even more profound. I recall meeting Leonard, a 72-year-old with high blood pressure and rising creatinine. He told me, "Doc, I've cut the salt, but my food tastes like cardboard." That's when garlic became his savior. Not only did it restore flavor to his meals, it also began to restore balance inside his body. Garlic is rich in a compound called allicin, which acts like a shield against oxidative stress, the very stress that scars kidney tissue over time. Clinical studies have shown garlic can help reduce blood pressure and cholesterol, two of the biggest culprits behind kidney decline. For Leonard, using garlic meant he could season generously without reaching for the salt shaker, a win for both heart and kidneys. Taken daily, even in modest amounts, garlic supports blood flow and helps lower the risks of protein leaking into the urine, a red flag in kidney disease. Supplements exist too, but I often remind patients to choose coated ones that dissolve in the intestine, sparing the stomach. Leonard now jokes that garlic gave him back both his taste buds and his peace of mind. Onions may bring tears to your eyes in the kitchen, but in truth, they're gentle friends to your kidneys. Their sharp bite softens into sweetness when cooked, and their healing power softens the heavy burden your kidneys carry. I think of Carol, a 65-year-old with type 2 diabetes, who came to me worried because her blood sugar was climbing and her doctor had mentioned diet for kidney disease. She felt cornered, as though every food she enjoyed was now dangerous. But onions became a bridge back to confidence. Low in potassium, yet rich in antioxidants like quercetin, they protect the kidneys without adding strain. Research published in Environmental Health Insights found that onion compounds can lower blood sugar, which is essential since uncontrolled diabetes is the #1 driver of kidney damage. Carol began adding onions to soups, roasting them alongside chicken, and even enjoying them raw in small amounts. Within weeks, her fasting blood sugar improved, and she felt encouraged instead of defeated. Onions also feed the good bacteria in the gut with prebiotic fibers, creating a stronger line of defense against inflammation. For Carol, the humble onion became more than a flavor. It was proof that small, affordable foods could still protect kidney health. There's something timeless about an apple. Maybe it's the crunch, maybe it's the sweet tart balance, or maybe it's because apples carry a kind of quiet wisdom from the earth. For kidney health, they are one of the safest and most nourishing choices. I think of Robert, a 70-year-old who came to me overwhelmed after hearing his creatinine had climbed again. He feared every piece of fruit, convinced sugar alone would worsen his kidneys. I asked him to picture an apple not as sugar, but as a broom. With its fiber and antioxidants, an apple sweeps through the body, binding to toxins and easing their exit, reducing the pressure on the kidneys. When eaten with the skin, the antioxidant power doubles, protecting delicate tissues from further scarring. Apples are low in potassium, sodium, and phosphorus, making them especially kind to kidneys struggling with balance. They also carry a low glycemic index of 39, which means blood sugar rises gently rather than spiking. Robert began carrying an apple in his pocket each morning walk. It wasn't just a snack, it was a reminder that not everything had been taken from him, that simple pleasures could still protect kidney function and bring sweetness back to daily life. Lemons, limes, and oranges have a brightness that feels like sunshine captured in food. And for kidneys, that brightness is more than taste. It's healing. I remember Denise, a 66-year-old who had suffered from recurring kidney stones. Each episode left her doubled over in pain, terrified of the next. When we looked at her diet, we found she wasn't getting much natural citric acid. That's where citrus fruits came in. Lemons, in particular, release citric acid that binds with calcium in the urine, making it harder for stones to form. A simple glass of water with a splash of lemon juice each morning became her shield. And the vitamin C in these fruits doesn't just help the immune system, it also protects the tiny filters in the kidneys from inflammation. Studies suggest citrus intake is linked to lower risks of heart disease, which matters because heart and kidney health are inseparable. Of course, I caution patients about allergies or stomach sensitivity. What lifts one person may irritate another. But for Denise, citrus fruits gave her back confidence. She now says every sip of lemon water feels like rinsing her kidneys clean, washing away yesterday's worries and giving her a fresher tomorrow. There's a reason people in coastal communities, who often eat more fish, tend to enjoy longer, healthier lives. Salmon in particular is a gift from the sea that directly supports kidney health. I once cared for Gerald, a 74-year-old former carpenter whose creatinine was creeping upward. He had already limited salt and sugar, but his energy was still fading. We introduced salmon to his dinner plate twice a week. What happened next was subtle yet powerful. Salmon is packed with omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, that act like oil on a rusty hinge, reducing inflammation and helping blood vessels move more freely. Research published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases has shown that people with higher intakes of these fatty acids had a reduced risk of developing chronic kidney disease. Gerald told me after a few months that his joints hurt less, his mood was lighter, and his lab numbers had steadied. Fresh salmon is best, rich with up to 4 grams of omega-3s per serving, though canned versions still provide a benefit. For those looking to protect their kidneys, salmon offers not just nourishment, but renewal, as though each bite restores a bit of calm to the body's overworked filters. Cherries may be small, but they carry a deep power, especially for tired kidneys. Their crimson color signals the presence of antioxidants that fight inflammation at its very roots. I think of Margaret, a 69-year-old who struggled with painful gout attacks on top of her kidney disease. She felt trapped, fearing every food might trigger another flare. When we talked about low potassium foods that still protect kidney health, cherries emerged as an unexpected ally. Sour cherries in particular are lower in potassium than the sweet varieties, yet they contain up to 20 times more vitamin A. That vitamin, along with vitamin C, fiber, and magnesium, helps calm inflammation, lower uric acid levels, and strengthen the body's defenses. A study in arthritis and rheumatism found that cherry consumption reduced the risk of gout attacks, and this benefit extends to protecting the kidneys from the same crystal deposits. Margaret began enjoying a small bowl of tart cherries in the evening. She told me it became more than dessert. It was her medicine disguised as pleasure. Each bite reminded her that healing doesn't have to be bitter, that nature often tucks its remedies into life's sweetest moments. If you've stayed with me through this journey, you now know that the path to protecting your kidneys isn't hidden in complicated regimens or harsh restrictions. It lies in everyday foods: grapes, blueberries, garlic, salmon, and more, that bring both comfort and healing. I've witnessed men and women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s reclaim energy, lower their creatinine, and slow kidney decline simply by embracing these nourishing choices. Change never has to be overwhelming. It can be as gentle as adding an apple to your morning or a drizzle of olive oil to your supper. Remember, your kidneys are resilient, and they want to serve you well for years to come. With small, consistent steps, you can protect kidney health, guard your independence, and savor more of life's simple joys. I'm Dr. Brian, and I believe it's never too late to begin again.